covering spirituality, lifeways, and society, maintaining an attitude of hope and faith. This is the Truth and Life podcast, brought to you by Concise Consulting with Reverend Dr. C.E. McAdoo.
All right, so let's get it started, man.
It's already started.
All right, so
It's already started.
I am Leron McAdoo.
And I am Reverend Dr. C.E. McAdoo, Charlie Edward McAdoo.
All right, man, so what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about what we can do to make that connection with those who are looking and listening today between life and truth. And what I'm saying is, what we're doing is, we're trying to say that this is not our thing. This is your thing. Because whatever we do here is set here. We're trying to do something out there. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We're working on life and truth.
Okay. So, man, and we've been talking about this thing, truth, for a minute. We knew that this was going to be the topic. And so I was looking at truth, and I've been thinking about truth. So it was kind of ironic that you said you wanted to talk about truth, because it's a very broad subject, truth. And I know that we were talking about it, or at least I felt like, and you can correct me, I felt like you were saying, man, let's talk about truth because of the political landscape presently and really perpetually, because it seemed like the whole idea of truth has gone on as long as I've been looking at politics. So tell me what your idea initially was, because I don't know if it moved from that point or if it broadened from that point or what. But.
Well, it's that Einstein's theory of relativity. And I've talked about this with you all a number of times. It's not 0%, but it's not 100%. And so what I'm saying is, yes, the whole political piece came up. I just started listening to politicians. And it's not that they don't lie, but they're able to take a little bit of truth and put it on their side of the table. I've been blessed to be an elected public official, got elected to the school board.
Right.
And one of the early statements that the paper asked of me, and I talked for about 2 or 3 minutes, I looked in the paper the next day, they had just taken one word that I'd said and moved it to a place where I really wasn't. So for the next part of my tenure, that's another part of truth is, because we were kicked off the school board because we started asking where the money was going. I started saying no comment, or without comment, because I found out the whole media stream, they put what they want. So that was part of my big motivation, that I would get individuals to, in the midst of who they are, to work this truth thing out in such a way that no matter what somebody said on TV, or no matter what somebody put in the newspaper, or no matter what somebody's put on a podcast, you'd be able to say, I've gone through this truth in levels of truth, and I found out what you said is not true. So that was the political end of it. Then the other end of it is just like you and I being here. You're my son, and I've got...
You are my real dad.
I'm your real... Yeah. That's my real son, right? But the thing is, we have for years talked about stuff around the dinner table. And I said to my son, we need to get this out. Some of the ideas, I won't tell, I'm seriously, some commercial ideas have come from our dinner table and we didn't act upon them. So I said to myself, I want to act upon this truth thing. I was in a retreat this week, and they asked, what would your legacy be? And if my legacy could be that individuals would start evaluating truth for themselves, that's where I'd like to be.
That brings up a few things for me. One would be the legacy thing, the media thing, the misinterpretation that happens, and I'll start with that.
Right.
So I've been quoted a lot of times. I remember the first official interview I had was in the 11th grade.
Okay.
and my homeboy interviewed me because he was part of our high school newspaper. It was some misquotes in the newspaper, in the article that he had written about me. And so I was like, wow. I just kind of chalked it up at the time as being, okay, this is someone learning the craft,
Right.
a very excellent writer at this level. I'm sure that when you get to higher levels, these type of misquotes won't happen. But I've been interviewed for magazines and newspapers as well. The good thing is when you're on television or radio, the actual audio is along with it.
Right.
But in print media,
there's a caveat that too. We're going to keep
right. In print media, they do have a tendency, especially back in those days, or now we're in an age where you can actually record, you can videotape, you have footage or audio of a person. But back then they were taking notes by hand. And so I can see where a misquote may go one place or another. And it would be more about the feeling of what you said versus the actual words, even though they were in quotes. But nowadays, and being a journalist myself, being in commercial media, radio-wise, print-wise, and television-wise at different points, I recognize how, as you said, even those can be kind of twisted. So I'm transitioning from the way you can be misquoted to how really the media part.
Right.
And so I've been on commercial radio and I've been on public radio. We all have taglines, mantras, and mottos that we stick to.
Right.
And so I know, now this is not our tagline, but I know when I was in commercial radio, there were radio stations that said, this is where hip hop lives. But we as DJs knew that what we were playing was not the authentic street level hip hop that the community, the hip hop community wanted to hear. We were playing quote unquote commercial hip hop. That understanding of a news broadcast, a media company will put out a message and say, hey, we are for the people, or we are balanced programming, or we are whatever they say. Understand that that is part of a brand. That is part of a marketing strategy. That is part of a mantra that they put out. The last thing I'll say is the legacy piece. It's like we live our destiny. And our legacy happens after our living is done. Since Norrell passed away.
And just a quick note that the passing away was a tragic accident.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I'm just saying that we want people to know that he died in a tragic accident. He probably went to sleep. It happened at 3:30 in the morning. So, okay.
Yeah. Full life, 24 years old.
Right.
But what I realized, he lived a destiny. And now his legacy is up to his sister, it's up to his mother, it's up to myself, it's up to you and whoever else will carry that Norrell name with them. And so, and that's a truth as well. I think legacy is an opportunity for people to look at somebody and say, man, this is what this person stood for. This is this person's truth, and being able to exhibit that and display it.
Okay. Well, and I guess that leads into, and all that you said leads into what we've talked about family-wise, is we try not to be a stylistic family. And there's a group called the Stylistics. They can sing too. You can go Google that. I don't want to be pejorative here. Many people talk about what's in style. You know, in other words, you want to be stylish, but we want to do it a certain way. That's what we've decided, family-wise. I'm going back to this legacy thing, is that when you're trying to find the truth, and I've said this, and we give a little tidbits here tonight that may or may not help you. If Leron would come in and we'd be talking, and he says they. He know as soon as he says it, he knows his dad is going to say, who are the they?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying part of the truth barometer is when you find out who the they were, you say, oh, I can discount them. They're a pack of lies. Or you can say, oh, well, brother or sister so-and-so, they do tell the truth. So I'm just saying, as we talk about these things, we're going to get not scientific on it, but the truth. When we think about it, one of the books that I gave to all my children, To Know As We Are Known. Now that sounds kind of philosophic. To know as we are known. Mm-hmm. How are you known?
Right.
Are you known as a truth teller? Are you known as somebody who has a certain way? And I talk about, even with my son, I think it was him, one of my sons, my daughter, it could have been any of them, but there was something happened, and they went to school, and the teacher says, well, we need to get you home or wherever, and they said to the teacher, my daddy said he's coming to pick me up. Mm-hmm. Or my mama said he's coming to pick me up. And even then, the teachers and administrators knew that that was part of our family way. Right. And they said, well, we know your dad's coming. Mm-hmm. We know your mama's coming. So I was in a workshop today, and I'm trying to think of the word I have next time. I think it's quit listening to this doom forecast. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's the way the doom forecast, if you listen to them, they just making money off of doom. And what I'm trying to say is there's enough truth that enables us to get life. Mm-hmm. Because without truth, there is no life. Mm-hmm. Scripturally, it says you should know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Right. So that means there might be some kind of ways that not being in the truth, you're not being in life.
Man, two things on that. First of all, the scripture, and then second, tradition. Right. So that's saying that phrase, that scripture, the truth shall set you free, right. Mm-hmm. is probably the most known scripture about truth.
Probably is.
Probably. Mm-hmm. And as I was looking at that, because again, when you had brought the idea of truth up, I was already battling with this challenge of what truth is. I was saying to myself, be aware that truth setting you free, it is a principle. It is something to live by. Be aware that principles, they proceed how they proceed, and it's not negative or positive. So what do I mean?
Yeah, break that down.
So when you tell the truth, your reality may change for not as good. I won't say for the worse. It may change in a way that's not as good for you momentarily. And I think that's why people fear the truth. Fear telling the truth about the evaluation on their job, or evaluating someone else, or being asked something about their boss or their workplace, or being asked something about their church, or being asked about one of those meetings that you've gone to. Mm-hmm. And I think people fear telling the truth because they know that there'll be repercussions from it. They may not want that type of freedom. In movies, illustrated in a very simple way, somebody will say something true, they lose a job right then. Right?
Well, that's what's happening now. The whistleblowers that come in and tell the truth, they get fired.
Or get set free.
Or get set well,
they just get set free. And so I just want people to understand the truth is a principle that moves both ways. It's a positive to tell the truth. The repercussions of the truth, setting you free, may not feel like the type of freedom you want at the moment. That's all. That's the freedom.
Hey, okay.
So, and I don't want to leave people hanging with the tradition. Okay. So, my point about tradition is, we live with things that we consider truths about how we exist in the world.
Okay.
And so, most famously, and here recently, I've heard that story of the woman who cut the ends of her roast or chicken or something off and put it in the oven because her mother did it. Mm-hmm. And when she asked her mother about it, her mother said she cut the meat like that because her oven was small.
Right.
And so you have two generations of people doing something, but the first generation was doing it out of necessity, out of the ability to make use of what they had.
Right.
And the second generation thought that was the way to go.
With a bigger oven.
Right. And they thought that was the truth.
Right.
They got a big conventional oven.
Right.
Could put multiple chickens and pot roasts and beefs and all kind of stuff in there, right? So the thing is, I think people have a tendency to hold on to things that they think are true because mama said it or daddy said it, or I'm trying to think of one.
What, the devil beating his wife?
Well, that is one. If the sun outside and it's raining, the devil beating his. That's like a wives' tale.
Yeah, that's a wives' tale.
But it gets passed on too.
Okay.
But those traditions that may or may not be true that we hold on to, they're more tradition than they are truth.
Right.
So,
there you.
Yeah.
And that really is a good point.
I grew up feeding dogs scraps from the table.
Okay.
In my mind, that's how you fed dogs.
In your mind.
But that's not a good tradition.
No, that's right.
And you said that bone marrow would have them bones splitting all in your dog's mouth. So, but a lot of people in my community, not only our family and my father, but a lot of people in our community used to feed table scraps to our animals.
That's what I grew up with.
Yeah, and that's what you grew up with.
And I passed it on to you.
As a tradition.
Right.
And so I learned now that no, you're not supposed to do that to a dog. So anyway, that's what I mean by one of those traditions that get passed on.
Right.
And you unknowingly feel like, oh, that's all right. That's the truth. That's what you're supposed to do when that's not the case.
Man, I love every bit of it. That's what the truth also does. It's a multiplier. You've also made it better for the dog too.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So,
the truth gonna set him free.
Oh man. I have 3 notations. One is the truth is a bedroom mentality that has nothing to do with sex. Can you lay down in your bed at night and know you've told the truth? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, don't get me wrong, people, man, I tossed and turned all night last night. Well, what? Let me talk about a lie. Because I've told a big one once.
There's no light without dark.
That's right. Let me tell the dark. The Lord blessed me to be a letter carrier. And the reason I said that because I'm trying to talk for men and women. We used to call ourselves postmen. But when I first started, women were carrying the mail, so I was a letter carrier. When letter carriers start, they usually start picking up those little blue boxes. When I started, I came home one weekend and I got drunk and didn't pick my boxes up. And so my supervisor came because the man who usually picks that box up on Monday ain't no mail in it because it was just supposed to be picked up on the weekend.
So you would have already picked it up.
Yeah, I would have already picked it up. And it'd been a few, but he came in and my supervisor asked me, McAdoo, did you pick that box up? I said, yeah. That was the end of it, I thought. Then Tom Banks, my buddy, came and said, boy, you know what you done? I said, no. He said, he's putting a file on you. He know you lied. Why don't you just tell the truth? But see, that's what happens sometimes is that they build up a dossier on you. I didn't do that no more. I didn't stop drinking. Hallelujah. Jesus. But I did pick my boxes up. So that's the bedroom truth.
Right.
That has nothing to do with sex. I can come in and lay down at night.
Right.
And no. Then I had a situation where I just come from Tennessee. He was 2 or 3 years old. And a person said, man, I can get you a job. I said, right here with the state. So. And he said, meet me here and I need to talk to you on Monday and you can go in on Tuesday. I done told the man all about you. And he said, oh yeah, but you need to shave your beard. And I said, what do you mean? He said, oh, he don't want people with beards. I said, well, you tell him you better keep that job.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, here before I even got on the job, if this man can tell me how to look before I get there, he don't know the truth about who I am. The third reference, and this is really, man, I love making money.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Chicago, broke, making no money. So that means I wasn't in love.
Right.
I was in love.
Right. Now
So,
if you love making money and you broke.
Oh man, and my cousin gave me some newspaper coupons, and I used to go out to the racetrack at different places. And she said, why don't you go out to Sherwin-Williams Paint Factory, see if you can get your job. They're looking for people. This is back in the 60s. I'm not digressing, but some people know that back in those days, African Americans from the South, they would hire you on these jobs. So anyway, I get on the job. Paint making is just like baking cakes. You put so much stuff in. So I was what you call a paint mixer. So I went in, and this white man came up to me. He said, boy, they just hired you, didn't they? I said, yeah. He said, I don't like niggers. I said, I won't eat them either. Lord have mercy. You talking about a buddy. I worked 3 summers. He took care of me. The truth. I don't eat them either. You see what I'm saying? But up under that, he knew I wasn't taking no stuff.
Right.
So anyway, I don't want to get too excited about what we're trying to do, because this podcast will be a podcast of commas, not periods. Because see, we can't put a period on what we're trying to say to you.
No.
It's about truth and life. We're not saying that you're going to write down some 1, 2, 3 for people, but it's just that presence you can make. There's a truth in relationships. We're going to really break that down, because there's a lot of fuzziness there. And it should be, because relationships are not black and white. It's always a little gray area there, because remember, all of us are born differently. None of us have the same mother and daddy. So I think as we progress on, and we're talking about the holy circle, is that whatever we say here, we want to go out and to touch and connect someone. But if there's no connection in what we do with the truth, I'm going back to a corporate piece and to a personal piece. If there's no connection to the truth, then you just got it there. That's like on Walter's Pond. You know, he had all these great ideas, but he wanted to go somewhere and live in isolation. Oh boy, I don't know. I think I'm tired of talking right now.
It's all over.
Yeah, it's all over. We started with let's get it started.
Yeah.
It's all over. We'll be back at another time. That's good.
When churches and organizations face real challenges, that's where Concise Consulting comes in. We help you move from uncertainty to clarity. For financial expertise, we help you conceptualize, manage, and maximize your budget. Our lead consultant oversaw multiple churches that contributed to mission work at a rate of 95%, and now your team can gain practical tools to plan stronger. For relational equity training, we help churches and organizations build cultures of understanding differences. For building and facility issues, Concise Consulting brings decades of experience to develop common-sense solutions for complex facility challenges. For shrinking congregations, we help you navigate membership decline, tap into growing faith movements, and incorporate development strategies across multiple denominations. So how can Concise help you? Through on-site or virtual professional learning, coaching, and retreats, all customized to fit your organization. When you need advice, call Concise Consulting, 501-779-0649, conciselr@gmail.com, P.O. Box 55323, Little Rock, Arkansas 72215.